to, help families and patients at the end of life have a dignified passing.
Very basic question first. Kristen, why did you want to become a nurse?
Sure. So I wanted to become a nurse because I've always loved science. I love, medicine and reading research and all of that stuff that has to do with biology and anatomy and science in general. But I also love to teach people. So I felt that nursing was kind of the best way to combine the two of my passions, teaching and science. And, you teach your patients every single day, how to manage different healthcare problems, or you're teaching family members, what are the signs of actively dying, or, what are the signs of hypoglycemia, or anything in between. So being able to merge my two passions was kind of what drove me to study nursing.
Great. So I wanted to know more, who convinced you to go to New York City at the height of the COVID pandemic? Why did you want to go, and who did you reach out to get you going there?
Mm-hmm. So one of my best friends from nursing school, her name is Melly, she had decided that she was going to go do this pandemic work. And I had also really wanted to do it. And I said, I got to jump on, I got to do this. So me and another one of our friends from school, Sandy, we had looked into this company. We were, reading all about travel work. Neither of us had done travel assignments before. So we did our research. We looked thoroughly into this company, as well as, looking at social media, because at this time, the company was very transparent. So anything that any of the nurses would post about, recording kind of like a little video of their day recap, they would repost that, and then everyone in their whole network could see that. So I felt that that was very authentic, and that I could, see what people were really experiencing. They weren't trying to hide anything from us. We could really see the down and dirty of what this was going to be like. So I, reached out on social media to some other nurses, APRNs, as well, that were there to get kind of their feedback, ask, a few little questions here and there. And then my friends and I decided we wanted to go. So we called the agency to get our spot.
Wow. Well, the journey is certainly very inspirational. So when you landed in New York City, what was your thought process? As soon as you landed, what was the vibe?
When I landed in New York City, I felt so much love and also so much like fear at the same time, because I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in northern New Jersey, so I was used to going to New York City for the holidays and, to explore and go to baseball games and things with my friends. So I had such a love for the city, so I felt that as soon as I landed. But at the same time, I felt this dreary, solemn feeling, because there was nobody on the streets. It really looked like in the movies when they show you the end of the world. That's really what it was. There was none of the stores were open. There was no people walking around. There was no taxis, no bikes, no anything. It was kind of scary in a way. I really felt like me and, a few people I was with, I felt like we were the only people around. And it was a little overwhelming and a lot to take in and process, for sure.
Yeah, so it was very much like a ghost town then, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Okay. So tell us, how many weeks was your assignment? Walk us through your very first assignment. What was it like to tackle this COVID pandemic and helping others who were getting complications from it? Things you saw, things you were required to do, your PPEs, what were they like, and how were they different from what what we're used to here in Vegas? And most importantly, throughout all of this that's going on, what what were you thinking? What were you going through?
Mm-hmm. So my assignment was 21 days. We knew that as soon as we landed that we would be starting our 21-day journey. And after that, you had the option to extend your contract. So I didn't know if I was going to make it the 21 days. None of us did. We kind of were like, let's just see, what we can do. Let's see how we can help. And if we can make it more than 21 days, great. If we have to come home because it's just too much, that's what will happen. So I signed up for the 21 days, and you know, as soon as I got there, we settled into our hotels, and we were just waiting on our assignment. We didn't know what hospital we were going to be at, or what unit we were going to be on, or any specialties like that. You know, they had thousands of nurses that they had to place, so they really needed to allocate all their resources as quickly as possible, because this was, you know, in April time of the year, so it was the height of the pandemic, and people were, you know, unfortunately passing left and right, and you know, they just needed the hands on deck as soon as possible. So you know, we didn't get a say in what our specialty was going to be there, although we did let them know, you know, hey, I have hospice experience, hey, I have med surg, and so on and so forth. But I was assigned to like more of a transitional facility. They actually opened up a lot of this facility for COVID. It actually had been closed down for many, many years, and the government, you know, mayor and governor and things like that, they had decided to open up this facility. So there was different parts of the facility that, you know, I worked on. Some of it was more of like a skilled nursing facility. You had some patients on vents with trachs, you know, and then you had other sides where they were not as stable. So you kind of had a big variety. We didn't have an ICU there, and we didn't have a emergency room there. So we were kind of like not, you know, a critical care facility. We were just kind of transitional at that point. And so, you know, if something really were to go wrong and we did, you know, all of the interventions we could, we would have to send them out to a higher level of care. But I mostly was feeling exhausted when I was there. We, you know, didn't have any time to, you know, rest or explore or even go out for a bite to eat. Everything was closed. We were really just in a sleep, you know, wake up, work, eat, you know, repeat mode. There was just no time for anything. You couldn't think, you couldn't do anything. You were just kind of in autopilot.
Wow. So, as I understand, you went with crucial staffing that basically helped organize this event to go to New York City to help out and to volunteer. So, with crucial staffing and in general, what was the support like during this heroic journey of yours, especially for a disaster relief volunteer?
Yeah, so the staffing agency was really wonderful. They had a lot of resources there for us on site. They had pretty much, I think, rented out this whole, like, you know, several hotels, and they, you know, closed off big portions of it for all of the healthcare staff. And, you know, we had our own entrance. We couldn't enter into the main lobby. We weren't allowed to, because, you know, risk of contamination for their hotel staff, as well as if there were any other guests there, which I don't think there were, but, you know, just in the off chance there was, we didn't want to contaminate anyone. So we had our own entrance. They had everything, you know, labeled and routed for us so that we knew where to go. They had a incident management team, which was kind of like a supervisor, always somebody on shift that was available at the front desk, our front desk, not the lobby front desk, so that if we had any questions, if we had any adverse events happen, or if we, you know, felt sick or anything like that, we had someone to go to. They had some providers there on staff, so that way, if, you know, we were feeling ill, they would assess us and, you know, let us know what they would want us to do, if they wanted us to quarantine, if we should go home, if, you know, X, Y, and Z. So, you know, we had supervisors, we had healthcare, we also had mental health support. They had people there to talk to us if you were just having a bad day, or if, you know, what you saw was just so draining on you, because, you know, not everybody was in a transitional facility like me. Some people were in the ICU or in the ER, where every single one of their patients passed, they didn't have one good outcome. So, you know, after a while, that becomes very taxing and very draining on you. So they did have this mental health team there for us that had, you know, music therapy, and I think they had pet therapy there. I missed it because I was sleeping, because I was working nights. They had, you know, coloring and prayer, and, you know, just like therapists to talk to. So they had so many resources for us. It was really great. And then on top of that, people were donating stuff to us left and right. They would have to like open up little rooms with these tables, and they would lay out all of the donations for us. There was, snacks, like microwavable snacks and candy and, chapstick and soap and everything you would need. It was just so overwhelming. We had so much support for sure.
Well, that's really great. You don't want to go and volunteer in a place where it's very hard to get a hold of anyone, where you're just left in a
Right.
limbo, right? Okay.
Exactly.
And Kristen, do you feel that you've changed after this journey? Did your perspectives change? And of course, would you do it again?
Yeah, so for sure, I do think that my perspectives have changed. I don't take everything so seriously anymore because, when you've seen death in that way, it changes you. I mean, I see death very frequently in hospice. That's the specialty I'm in. But when you see people pass away suddenly from an illness like the coronavirus, that's not expected. That's not normal. So, being there has changed my perspective. I don't take everything as seriously as I used to. I kind of take everything day by day, and I try to enjoy as much as everything I can. I think that it's changed the way I look at my family members and, their health problems, and when I give people advice, and, how I see healthcare in general and research and things like that. And I would definitely do it again. I think that I was able to be a part of history, and it's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I'm very honored to have been able to be a part of it, and to be able to say that I was there and I helped, and it's very rewarding for me to be able to hold that close to my heart, and I would definitely do it again if I could help.
Oh, so we are moving towards our very last question for you. So throughout all of this pandemic, all the things that happened to you, what you experienced, what you saw, what was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway was, you're not going to be able to fix everything ever, especially working with an agency. You go into these facilities and you're the agency nurse, you're the new person on the block. So you can't fix everything, even though you know that that's not right. They shouldn't be giving the med like that, or they shouldn't be doing this procedure like that. Even though you know all of these things aren't right, you're not going to be able to fix every wrong. But if you're able to at least help one person, if you're able to at least make a difference in one person's life or fix one issue, then you know that you've done your due diligence, you've done your job, you've made someone's life better. And that was my biggest takeaway, because you can't put out every fire, but you can definitely help someone have a better quality of life.
And here in this little pop-up that we have next to Kristen here, we have a very moving picture of her experience was like in New York City. This was done and created by Steve Derrick. Okay. Again, thank you, Kristen, for being with us today. And as a thank you, Pink Beauty Company will be giving her a care package as a thank you. Here we have just a bunch of goodies for Kristen. We are sure to be creating this in her favorite scents of lavender, jasmine, and harvest spice. So, again, thank you so much, Kristen, for joining us today and to tell us about your experience at the New York City. If any of you know any nurses that deserves a special recognition, nominate them by sending us an email at inquiriesforpink@gmail.com, and we will reach out to them if they are interested in being interviewed by us. And of course, as a thank you, they will receive a package from us, just like Kristen's, as a thank you. So to everyone who joined us today, a special thank you as well. Until next time, please join us for another Nurse Spotlight in November, and nominations are open now for our next feature. Okay, thanks again, Kristen.
Thank you, Mary, so much for your generosity and your time.
Okay, bye-bye. Take care.